Hi everyone, we're super excited. We're doing a new series with frontier founders and innovators called Magical Thinking, where we try to understand the moment in time we are at right now. And today I'm extremely honored to have with me Mahesh Lambe. There's a very long bio, which we will save for the pre-introduction of it. But happened to go down a rabbit hole and come across initiative, rather I would say movement called Project Nanda. That's what we're going to discuss today, the thorough lines of it, bird's eye view of where intelligence is going, where us as humans need to sort of look deeper. And if you're someone who's interested, confused, anxious about what's happening in the world right now, this is a conversation for you.
Thanks for having me.
So let's begin with just you informing people what Project Nanda really is and how did you get involved?
Sure. Project Nanda stands for just to define it, it's a network of AI agents in a decentralized architecture. What does it mean? Also for our Indian audience, right? Nanda stands for a joy in Sanskrit, and this is one of the very critical or an inflection point for the entire human civilization, or as a human or as a sapiens. So we are entering an era where finally we have some intelligence that we can interact with at a scale, at a planetary scale, basically.
Right.
So how the generative AI happened, just to give a little background on that, we all, as I was saying earlier, right, we started using the search engine, we thought, what if I get access to all of this knowledge on the internet?
Yeah.
Then I will become the most knowledgeable person on planet. And it was kind of a fantasy story, but then somehow we started doing that as a real experiment. Think of it like AI stands for artificial intelligence, okay, but it never happened at a planetary scale.
Right.
And this is the first time in the history that we are doing, and there is so much comparison happening around. Oh, this is equivalent of the humans inventing the wheel, or humans inventing the fire and how to control the fire.
Or electricity.
The electricity is another metaphor for that. So, and it is in a way, because I was saying the interaction itself is changing with this. And early days of my, because I come from the predictive AI background, I try to make it controlled execution, meaning that I need to know the outcome before it happens, right? Like that's a predictive AI, meaning if I ask a question, I have some anticipation of an expected answer from that entity, which is AI in this sense. But then, to my surprise, with the generative AI, it is having an ability to generate something that I did not anticipate. Okay, so that could be text, that could be image, that could be audio, that could be video, any formats. Basically, it can
be more responsive and
So Nanda, basically, initially when we were all this think tank, which includes all academia researchers across top universities, as well as industry researchers, participating in this thought experiment. What is really happening? Because it's not really that we want to predict the future, but we want to understand at least what's happening to all of us at the same time at such a large scale, because we are so far now we are used to use our phone, internet, all that is like a part of that digital player is part of our day-to-day life. We use it for different purpose. What if every single entity involved gets intelligent? It's not just the system I'm talking to interact with, but also beyond the software tools, every single system in the society gets that
access to that. So when we spoke last, you had mentioned something that really provoked me, which was collective intelligence.
Sure.
How would you define that?
It always starts with me using the software, or me using the system, which I like to, as I said, search is a very great example for that. I like to search so that I enrich my knowledge, my findings, even I can validate. But this is the first time I can validate it at such an intelligence scale. Okay? So initially, what you can think of, as a human species, how we evolved, we did not chase the godlike intelligence going into the silos and so that I can get all the knowledge. We as a sapiens decided to form the communities. We said that, because our own knowledge, our experiences are limited to us, unless until I share, I start to collaborate, I start to co-learn from others, the intelligence remains in the silos. But now think of it like similar analogy to the human intelligence. Like we live in a community, we learn from each other. Our intelligence grow as a collective intelligence. We solve the world problems. We solve our personal problems also. But that is all because of our interaction with other human entity, like which is equally intelligent, like or just you can say sapiens, like that. So now when we talk about this AI era, like so, what if initially it's all happening my personal AI, right? I'm using it for my personal use. Let's say it's a productivity boost, or it could be a content generation, or it could be like getting answers to my problems. Like all that kind of thing can happen to my personal capacity. But when this phase is over, like we will be much more intelligent, like because now we get an equally accomplished companion which is there. That's our AI assistant, like for everything. It's just not day-to-day lives also. Like it could be a movie review, it could be a suggestion, recommendation for my songs, and all that kind of interaction. And ChatGPT kind of has proved this, because when I said a consumer AI, this interaction proved the point that there is definitely a value prop for this system. But something beyond that has to happen, and that's where this think tank come into the picture, where we decided, like what will happen when all these intelligence will be connected to each other, like when they start collaborating with each other. And that will be the super or powerful thing for a humanity at a planetary scale. Sure.
And so in terms of like trying to solve a problem now, we spoke about HTTPS coming in, and that, formed the protocol. And we spoke about when you think of something, you think of an app or a website, you don't believe in things being invisible. But in terms of creating decentralized infrastructure, which is what, Project Nanda defines itself as. One, why the need for decentralized infrastructure? And two, what is the problem that this would solve that perhaps other, frontier models or platforms wouldn't solve?
Sure. So there are two answers to this. Like one could be a technical answer, because the analogy is very similar with the earlier days of internet. So how the internet was formed. Think of like when we started. Like when Turing machines. Like we had these huge servers in a particular building. Like so as a human, I have to go there and run some calculations. Right. That's how it all started. Then that compute moved from mainframe era to a personal computing era, meaning that we thought, oh, okay, it doesn't make sense to always go to the servers. Like what if I get some personal compute in a limited capacity? Then operating systems evolved. So when that happened, initial experiment is that, oh, this is my personal computer. Okay, so I can do anything on top of it. So people started building apps on it. Like every operating system has an apps on it, whether it's mobile operating system or your laptop operating system or any other interfaces that you might use. So when that started happening, initially it was fun because now I can do more things on my machine. But then something very interesting experiment again people were doing. The group of friends decided, like very simple example is that, oh, what happens when all these personal computers connect with each other? Okay, so that's the networking era. That's when we shifted from personal computing to the network of computers, and it happened at a different levels. It's not just a one short solution. It happened at a different layers, getting solved and resolved, and problems were solved and fixed. All that kind of innovation happened at the same time. So initial experiment was intranet, right? Like meaning like 5 friends playing a video game where their PCs connected with each other and having a lot of fun. Okay, because now I have this controlled execution. But we still did not have anything at a global scale or at a planetary scale. So the next phase after the PC era was an internet era, meaning that we connected all the computers, all the machines that were having some compute power with it, some storage, some memory, and all the data centers and all that. And all these guys are connected, all these entities got connected with each other. So new multi-stakeholder systems evolved. But when internet is done, we this thought like, okay, we connected all computers now. What's next after this, right? It sounds good, but another fascinating thing happened. This is called web, World Wide Web. So World Wide Web is a layer on top of this internet of all these systems or computers. And we said that, you know what, let's decide on some commonality, like solve the trust issues, coordination issues, messaging issues. And that's where the DNS was born, giving every computer an abstract name like a .com or a .net, that kind of a names. Then HTTP and HTTPS kind of a protocols evolved, saying that, hey, you know what, they're agnostic to the platform that you use, because now you are interacting with the internet through a browser.
Right.
Okay. So the browser innovation happened during the agentic web era. um, and then so nobody really needs to worry about how I will build the things,
Yeah.
and how will reach to the end consumer or the my audience across the globe. Like I need to worry about only the my side of the things,
Yeah.
and we'll make sure that this invisible layer that is formed using this World Wide Web, all these HTTP, HTTPS protocols, all the HTML, that's all open source. Like, so we all agreed upon saying that, hey, whether you use any technology, you build any solution, the interface remains same and neutral. Like it includes the discovery. Let's say I have a .com website or a domain. Basically, anybody on the planet can access it. Then there is a third-party trust issuers, safety, all that kind of measures were taken care of by a neutral entity, like similar to the DNS stand for domain name system, which a lot of people not aware of, like how DNS even works. Like when I hit an URL in a browser, how it really finds the actual machine which is running that piece of software or whatever that could be, and giving it back the response to me. Like today, let's say I type in google.com, there's a huge invisible things happen in the background, and as a consumer, should I be worried about it? Technically not, because I should be focused more onto the innovation side of the things, or some utilities that improve my day-to-day life. I'll be more focused on those kind of aspects. And the trust, coordination, the neutrality, all that has been taken care of at a global scale. So similar analogy is happening with an agentic era. The mainframe is very much equivalent to the LLM models, because which requires like a multi-billion parameter models, requires like thousands of GPUs, compute running day and night, like to get some intelligence out of it. So that's still a mainframe era. The second phase is like where we are entering this year. We are entering into that personal agent era, which is equivalent to the personal computers. Meaning that there is a value prop me building my own personal AI solution. Like it could be for my day-to-day activities, it could be for my family, it could be for my friends, it could be for my company that I'm working for. Any of these happening in like building these personal AI solutions, which is equivalent to the personal computer. Then comes the what when all these AI solutions connect with each other, and that's where the rise of or the birth of Internet of Agents will emerge.
Comes in,
Like we're at a global scale. Like some doctor, for example, built some solution here in US, and some patient in India, like have a similar problem statement. How that intelligence reaches out to that individual is the Internet of Agents. And Nanda stands at one level up, that is agentic web, meaning that we need to have build this common rails or common infrastructure in enough open space, meaning everybody should participate in this effort to build the protocols, standards, that is foundations. Then we are thinking of like, okay, next phase could be an agentic commerce where the transactions will be happening, a co-learning will be happening across these AI solutions. Some like there is a different meanings to the word agent, like, but agent stands for, like, which has its own reasoning capability, which is all these LLM models, like large language model empowered, has its own compute, it has its own memory, has its own context, and all that happens. So that era, so that is, but to make that happen, even so 4 choke points actually Project Nanda try to address. So first is an identity. Okay, so meaning the way DNS technically takes care of, there is a unique URL for a particular physical server offering certain services. So the similar analogy, if all of these AI solutions who are like kind of an autonomous entities have an identity solved. That's the first choke point Project Nanda is trying to solve. The second is a discovery. How will my AI solution, as I was giving the earlier example, like a doctor build an AI solution, and with his 40 years of practice, and some consumer, like having a need of that. How will that happen? Cross boundaries, cross organizations, all that kind of things, how it will happen. And that's where the discovery is most critical part, like how they will discover each other. The third choke point that we are trying to solve is an attestation, meaning if that particular doctor agent or doctor AI solution claims that I am a doctor, I am a specialist or a neuro specialist, I have like 1,000 surgeries experience, or all of that, right? How will you even validate that? And that requires a third party trust issuers test the capabilities of that. So that's the third choke point. The fourth choke point is the coordination. This AI solution will talk to another AI solution, and how they even will coordinate with each other in a safe and trusted ecosystem. So these four choke points Project Nanda is trying to solve.
Okay, so first let's talk about why does it need to be decentralized and open source. So from a consumer standpoint, people have had access to ChatGPT or any of the other models. They could search there. It's like an enhanced search of, I am suffering with this condition, who are the best doctors in America. They may get some responses.
Of course.
But what are the benefits of it being decentralized and open source?
Sure. It's not an alternative that we are discussing here, right? So all these things will coexist at the same time, like because search is the biggest utility as a nature, right? Human species who like to explore, who like to search. So search exists. The problem starts coming when I'm limited to a search results, like, so that's the biggest worry. If let's say somebody is paying more money and that is the recommendation shows up for me, that's not kind of a system I really want, like, because right now we really tried our best, even though there were some bottlenecks to the current form of the internet as well. And this is another chance in the history to have something at a planetary scale, like, so search will remain, but I don't want it to be monetized in a way that I will be limited to get access to the knowledge or the intelligence itself.
Right.
Traditionally, when we were searching, what we are looking for, very simple example, right? When I search for best Indian restaurant in the Silicon Valley, the way I get any search platform I use, like, it's first of all, it is ad incentivized. And I'm limited to top 10 results maybe. But the good part and the bad part, right? Good part is that it is still discoverable, meaning that I can still see the 10 options, okay? But the preference that happens is the concern, like, so what if in a true decentralized or a true open internet, the way it should have happened is that as a consumer, I should have been given access to everything, okay? And that was a challenge again, like, because I cannot have, like, there are 300 million websites, and let's assume that 1% of them are restaurants. As a user, that's not a pleasant experience either, right? But this is the first time in the history, and that's why I'm repeating this, like, that now we are thinking that the entity that I'm interacting with has an intelligence. When I say intelligence, meaning that it has its reasoning capability, who knows me very well, who knows my preferences, who had some contextual information about my interaction so far. It's not happening in the silos, okay? So when I'm interacting with an intelligence agency or intelligent agent, like, so think of, like, it has its own agency, meaning it can go search for those 1% of the restaurant websites and align that outcome to me. Like, it's kind of, one can claim that it is a hyper personalization for me, but it's actually intelligent interaction. Because like the way I ask my friend, he doesn't tell me, like, oh, let's say I ask you, for example, give me some recommendation of the best restaurants in Mumbai. Then you will not say that, oh, these are the 100 hotels. Because you have some context about me, like, and you might say, you know what, you might like this. And that's what I'm that kind of an interaction is more helpful.
And to that, you also mentioned each person, let's assume, has their own agent. What's important is for the agents to be able to communicate with each other as well, right? And one such example we've seen is with Moltbook, where agents are chatting with each other. But you had given an example previously, same for a medical student or someone suffering from a disease, and then their agent goes out and speaks to other agents.
Yes.
And then there can be good actors and bad actors. So
Yes.
paint a picture of, what would that look like?
Yeah, so that's very interesting question, because that's something that we haven't really this year it started, like we kind of started accepting a
Yeah.
notion of owning a personal agent. Like
Yeah.
owning is a very important word, like meaning that I am accountable for the AI solution or an AI agent that I am building.
Yeah.
And I'm only trusting that entity, like, and then when that happens, meaning that that agent can go in this internet of agents, or the network of agents. And when I say agents, the analogy is, think of an intelligence or intelligent entity, which could be a software entity, could be a system, could be an app, could be anything. Okay, so when that started happening, so think of like the current model that we have. So as a consumer, we had been we built an internet, but the way I use or consume the internet is very much in a reactive nature. Like, because the other rails, there will be most of the time my interaction with the internet is maybe top 5 websites, right? Like that is simple, or top 5 apps on my phone. Like that's what I usually have my digital interaction. But that's not what I really want, because let's say there is something amazing that is think of a rare disease example that you mentioned. One of my friend actually did it. So her dad was suffering with some severe disease, and uh, the hospitals here said that, what, this is the only research had happened. Okay, there is no such a research collab at a global scale. Every human has their own intelligent thing, like they, over the period of experience or their day-to-day interaction, their knowledge, their college or studies, or all of
their
that
context.
So basically that intelligence has never been harnessed, like to a digital form. So this is the first time when I say personal AI agent, I'm harnessing all my intelligence into an agent which I trust, which can go and search for the global scale of intelligence. So when I say, imagine the same situation, like when somebody is looking for a help, which is a rare disease, and my current channels are that I might go to the internet in the current form. Like I search for the doctors, I search for the medical providers or the hospitals, and do my due intelligence on my own. All of that is happening manually. I have to go and validate, make a call to them, then ask a friend, okay, do you really trust this doctor or this hospital, where to go and what not to go. But then, as I was saying, my friend's example, she traveled across the world for her dad, like saying that, like, oh, okay, where is the best treatment that he can get. The current model is so expensive, and the only reason that did not happen because we never connected the intelligence with each other. When we connect the intelligence with each other, or the network intelligence, I can assign this task to an AI agent that is my personal agent, knows my dad's health records, my personal details, but it's not exposing that to the rest of the world. Okay. In the current model, I had to share all of that before even getting any response back. But this intelligent entity, which is digital by nature, goes into this network intelligence and then find out, oh, these are the, what, there is a, I don't know, like if you come from like there is 1,000 years of Ayurveda history, right? And we think that, oh, we lost that knowledge over the period of time, and there might be some cure existed that no more we know about. So all that unlocking that knowledge, intelligence at a global scale only can happen
when
share, and when it is a decentralized enough across the globe. It doesn't need to be 100% decentralized. Think of it like it has to be a networked intelligence. Then only my intelligent entity can reach out to all of this. Let's say, I think I gave you previously the example, right? Let's imagine a future. Okay, right now we don't do that. Not like every single human on the planet owns an app. There is that is not the case, right? Because even though I'm a accountant or a finance expert, I'm a medical expert, I don't really share my intelligence, because I feel that, like I go to the existing ecosystem, that is app ecosystem or that is a search ecosystem. I submit my information and I'm at a mercy of
them
getting discovered. But that we cannot let that happen with this AI era, because then we are losing of getting the best out of all of our collective intelligence available digitally, and my agent can then
do that.
do
But you
that for
mentioned
me.
something interesting last time, which I think people might have may not understand, and even I didn't know, is that you can choose what information you want your agent to share, and you can put those guardrails so they know what they're communicating with other agents and other actors, and it's not your information is in that sense yours. So can you speak to that?
Sure. So so that always comes in the picture, right? In the decentralized architecture, people question, what if there is a bad actor in the ecosystem? So in the current model, okay, think of it as a mental model. I just by default trust the entity. Okay, if let's say there is some vulnerability exists in the ecosystem, kind of I accepted it, right? In a, and because I was shown only that side of the picture, like let's say I had an emergency and I'm trying to call an ambulance, and ambulance had an app, like find the nearest ambulance. I rely onto the connectivity that is required, and the availability, and totally disconnected systems. There might be private ambulance services, there might be government ambulance services, but when I need it, uh, what are my approaches in the current system is that I have to go and find everything on my own. But in the future era, like what needs to happen is that intelligence come to me, like when I pass a message saying that, hey, I'm looking for an ambulance, and I tell my AI solution or AI agent, that agent will crawl and coordinate and interact across the network and get me the best possible like availability, and that requires everybody's participation. Meaning that current system is like, okay, not everybody is online, not everybody is using apps, not everybody is using smartphones, not everybody is connected internet, so that thing is still not uh, happening, but like very simple example, like I'm going back to, let's say your mom is a best chef in the world, like, and she has her own recipes. Every mom cooks delicious food, and in a different way. It's not like the same way, right? But that intelligence, like you want to make it more accessible to everywhere. Like, so when somebody try to reach out a highly personalized thing, it only available when the decentralized architecture exists.
Is that also why it was described, Project Nanda is described as a quilt of
yes. You mentioned a very good point, because I often come across this question, like what is Project Nanda is defining the protocol, is Project Nanda defining the standards. And the way we try to approach this problem, it's not one entity doing it, it's not like one organization doing it. It's everybody's welcome to join and participate, whether you are builder, developer, student, or like
an organization,
non-technical person. Everybody's opinion or contribution is critical, because that's how the system will evolve. Okay, so that's first thing. So we make sure that it is community driven, it is open enough for everybody to be a part of it. Like that's one. And are we the only one define the standard? Like very simple example I'll give, like when we were building, like agent, how the one agent will communicate with another agent. There could be a better alternatives than the existing solutions. And we came up with the concept called agent facts, meaning uh, agents will carry their own passport, basically, like in a private manner. And also another concept is indexing, like how do you connect all these agents together. So but then we realize that, like it's not one standard, one solution will suffice every single need. So that's where the quilt architecture come into the picture. So what we started doing is like, okay, what we really need is kind of an adapter. We don't really need so think of literal meaning of an adapter, right? Like how you travel from India, so you have to carry the universal adapter so that you can everywhere the electricity grids are different, the voltage systems are different. So to match that, you have to carry the adapter. Okay, so what Project Nanda started focusing on, okay, let everybody build the protocol, let everybody build the standards. But what Project Nanda is doing, like quilt of these things.
Architecture.
So when I mentioned the index, right? Let's say there are multiple players building their own registries, but those registries don't talk to each other, don't share anything with each other. Registries of AI solutions or endpoints or AI agents. So what we said, what if it is a quilt of registries? Like let all the registries have evolved in their own ecosystem, but we have to build a quilt. So Project Nanda basically is that quilt. We propose a quilt architecture also for, this is one example I was talking about, the indexing, which can help at least some common understanding, and the cross organizational evolution or innovation can benefit from others' innovation. So
and when we talk about just not proof of concept, but like application of this, there's an exciting portal or opportunity that is going to be the foundation where a part of Project Nanda is tested out. So we want to talk about the Kumbhdoot.
Sure. So think of it like, okay, getting all this theoretical research that had been happening for almost a decade, right? All the AI research, but there has to be a practical implementation at such a scale. So for Kumbh Mela, it's for different people, it means different things. Like for my grandmother, it might be, like a religious experience. Some mom and pop shop, like a shopkeeper, that's a different experience. Like, or different incentives that exist. For administration, it means something else. Like they have to do so many critical tasks has to happen. For the volunteers, it means something else, right? So as I said, like when we were saying that if it is an internet of agents, internet of personal AI agents, and what if AI can help, or more or like an empower this execution of Kumbh Mela, entire thing.
It happens in Nasik and it happens in Prayagraj. And it is the largest religious gathering in the world. And hence to coordinate it is a huge mammoth task.
No, it is, and the administration does an amazing job to pull out these things. So but if technology does not, as I was saying earlier, if technology cannot help to the grassroots, or anybody who really needs it, rather than stays in Silicon Valley, for example, or the big companies only, right? That's not valuable. Like what needs to happen is that it has to be enough democratized. Like, and Kumbh Mela is the great opportunity to stress test this whole theory, like of internet of agents, or agentic networks, you can say.
So let's talk about that. If there's someone who's coming and attending, I in conversation stress tested this concept with my mother because she's gone to the Kumbh Mela. And her question was, how would someone know about this? How would they interact? They kind of assume that it's complicated technology, or a lot of people in general are fearful of it, but that's not the point, right? And there's a simple architecture behind it. So walk someone through.
Sure. I'm glad that like I was saying, like my mom uses AI on a daily basis now, and the way it happened is not as a user of this technology. Do I really need to know the technology? And the answer is no. Like I don't need to know the technology. What I really care for, is it helping me in some meaningful way? Is it impacting my life in some meaningful way? Is it offered as a utility to me, like, or what I can achieve using this technology? That's what matters. Like as I said, your mom doesn't need to learn AI to use AI. So AI will remain kind of an invisible layer, and Project Nanda is trying to build that invisible trust layer so that all this collaboration can happen smoothly in the background. The way I was telling, the UPI is a great example. Like your mom is using the QR code to buy some groceries, or fruits, like on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
she doesn't need to know how the UPI works.
Yeah.
She only knows that, oh, it is so convenient.
Yeah.
Like I can just scan the QR code and, like my UPI, my identity is attached to my bank.
Yeah.
And like I can have a transaction without worrying. And it also keeps you utility wins, like as simple as that. And the approach for this Kumbh Mela is also like first target the utilities or the use cases that will help the attendees, like who are attending this Kumbh Mela.
Yeah.
Let's say a 70-year-old woman from Bihar, like who is visiting uh, this Kumbh Mela that's happening in Nasik next year, like so how it currently happens. Think that for a second. We have a technology, right? We try to get everything possible to have that pleasant experience, right, at all levels. Like as I was saying previously, every single entity involved in this execution or participating in this execution is trying their best to have a pleasant experience, okay, for the everybody involved. So now think of this old woman from Bihar visiting Nasik. Okay, so there's language issues. There is the current model is that I might have to go to
take a train,
different apps to do the things, or reach out to different people to do the things, or all that, like human network works in India, right? Most of the time we reach out to the humans. But what if some of these use cases can be solved using AI? So very simple example is the language barrier. Like if I speak Bhojpuri and I'm traveling to Nasik, which is Marathi native, then how that interaction will even happen if I need some help? Like as a 70-year-old woman, like so that translation could be one of the use cases. I can have any language support available for me in a very
and just to point out, even the infrastructure that you laid would be models on top of it. So let's say Sarvam is one of the frontier models tackling translation. They would be on top of it.
Of course. And think of it like as a 70-year-old woman, do I really need to worry about which language model had been used in the background, who is translating these things? I only care for the result, like or the utility angle of it. Is it helping me? The technology is helping me in the translation in a seamless manner. The second is that so far the mechanism that current systems or a digital system exists is that a human has to go to the system and interact, learn that and adapt that system. Because it's not or never hyper personalized, like, or there is no seamless interaction happening. Meaning, let's say like I want to have like a hotel reservation. Okay, very simple example. I need to learn the ecosystem or the app or reach out to the tourist agencies to make that happen for me. But what I really want the experience is that I give a task, and that task needs to be, or I give a goal, and that goal needs to be accomplished. So we are calling it a Kumbhdoot. Doot as in personal convoy. Like your personal convoy knows you, that your age, your health restrictions, your family, your friends, like where you come from, what things are your preferences, all that kind of data, like is kind of private to you. Okay? But something built on top of it, that is Kumbhdoot, like which is not sharing all of this to the rest of the world.
Helping you in your experience.
And you can just say that I want to do I want to travel. Like literally the simplest ask for the 70-year-old is that I want to go to Kumbh Mela. Right? That's it. And the other things needs to be taken care of in an autonomous way. So the current model, different entities you have to interact with, rely on to the human network a lot. But with this AI, like the current form of AI, as I was earlier mentioning, it has its own understanding capabilities or reasoning capabilities, which can navigate all these channels and do the things for you, like on your behalf.
Also a way to understand how people who are not assuming who are not AI native or not technical would actually interact and use it. And you'd also mentioned in terms of the layers of it. So one is like a basic utilitarian. I just need to get here. I need my train ticket. I need to understand where what is. And then second is like the services. And then third would be experiences, right? So talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So as I said, it started with the use cases as a citizen agents. citizen agents are happening in a very built on top of public infrastructure. It's not really trying to harness any of your private data to the third party. That's not the goal here. The goal here is mostly let that private things private to the individual, and and use a seamless interaction with the technology. As I was saying earlier, let's say I visited Kumbh Mela, and I have some medical help needed. As an attendee at the Kumbh Mela, and I don't know anything about the ecosystem. I have to rely on to the very limited
knowledge that
kiosks
could be
and
there.
all, and then how can I do that? In a way. So when I ask for a medicine, very simple, or a water bottle, and I need that to happen on behalf of me. So we are building this as a 3-layer architecture. So one is as a saying that a citizen agents, meaning, let's say every pilgrim who is visiting Kumbh Mela gets their own personal convoy, or a Kumbhdoot, and that interacts with the rest of the system entities. The second layer goes to the government administration. There is a crowd management team, there is a police department, there is a water department, there's a fire department. All these entities are trying their best
to
on the ground, have, because it's such a huge gathering. So the number that expected this year is almost 80 million pilgrims will be visiting this Kumbh Mela next year. And to test this theory of this AI solutioning, this is the best platform to do that in a sovereign way. Where and fortunately we have the digital public infrastructure exist
to build
on top of it. So this is an AI layer. So the second tier goes with the all these government entities or administration, or these non-profit orgs, or the volunteers. That layer have their own agent. And the third layer goes to the service providers, because their participation is equally important. The local shops, and literally, like yesterday I was talking to someone, oh, is it possible to get all these insta shopping entities to be a part of this execution? That is possible, because we have the foundational rails figured out. And then what we really wanted is to have that AI empowered solution exist
on top of that.
So these 3 tiers will.
And I think it's also important to point out, like while you were talking and when we've spoken earlier as well, sometimes one can assume that is this interaction or experience going to be like a super app where you have all of these parts inside and everyone talking together? And when you contrast that with UPI, it's like, okay, it's really simple because all one needs is a QR code you need to scan. But I think the distinction is the fact that if someone had to explain the India stack, there would be so many things working together.
Correct.
Similarly, here there are so many things working together, but important to highlight that as a consumer, you're not going to experience all of that. You're basically just going to say, this is what I need, this is what I want, and the agents will do all of the.
That. That's fantastic, the way you explain, right? So, and we really wanted that experience, because this is, as I was mentioning earlier, this is the first time we have an intelligent software or intelligent entity coexist alongside us, and how that can help us in our day-to-day life. So the access channel or the interface is not necessarily an app,
right?
It could be we had been trained so far, when we talk about anything, but why does it have to be that way? Because we are so tech savvy, or we learned the younger generation is a digital native, and then even younger generation is a AI native. So think of it like we had been told that this is the way to interact, or this is the interface that you can get access to the services. Okay, but that narrative is going to change. This is not the interface anymore to access the services. So to access the services, I will have an intelligent entity to do that for me. And that's where, oh, do I need to click, open the app, sign in there, and browse it, search it, and then I will get the information? No, that's not how it is, because app was built as an interface, so for a convenience. But then it become like a thousands and millions of apps, and app stores coexist. But that kind of choked, as a consumer, my experience. Okay, my experience is fragmented across different ecosystems. What if I don't have a smartphone today, right?
Yeah.
A 70-year-old does not have a smartphone.
Yeah.
Let's say it's a traditional feature phone.
Yeah.
How will I interact with this system, right? But AI can actually a layer sitting on a phone without accessing any of the app ecosystem, and it just can do the local translation services, as I was saying.
So how would you imagine that? Like, I'm curious.
It started that way because we were so search savvy, right? We like to search. Everybody wanted to search something every single day. Like that's how the systems evolved. But what we are shifting from that interaction to a proactive interaction. I want somebody to, if I give a goal, that entity can crawl across the system and get achieve the goal, like, or act on behalf of me, negotiate on behalf of me, communicate on behalf of me. That has to happen seamlessly rather than me always involved in that interaction. And one of the foundational difference or fundamental difference you can think of, everybody's thinking that there is a one-on-one interaction happening. That, okay, if the way you mentioned, right? Okay, I go to chatbot, and I feel that I'm talking to a chatbot, and it's a one-to-one conversation happening, right, in the current form. But when I'm talking about the agent is not that chatbot. Agent is the system that exists behind the scene. Is it a single agent that I'm interacting with? No. There will be multi-layers of agentic interactions happening. There will be delegations happening across the execution. The way the current internet works, when I hit the URL, there are at least 10 plus things happen in the background before I get the search result back. And different entities are taking care of every single point in that execution. The similar way, this is multi-channel, not multi-channel, or a multi-layer propagation happening. When I give a task, my agent is basically going and figuring. And as I was saying, it is going to be an invisible layer. So that needs to be built. Like, so that you don't need to be worrying about, oh, my agent, whom it is interacting with, all these players I need to know in advance. I don't really need to know, because, and that's where even decentralized comes or plays a very critical role. It has to be enough decentralized so that, so it can, the system itself can take care of it. Like, not really I have to rely on to a centralized system.
So two things. One is, since, Kumbh is a way to also understand how people are going to interact, and, it's a huge data set as well, right, to test it out. That would be in what current interface? Imagined shape or form?
Yes. So we can always start, like with, let's say I have an analogy to that, like, so you mentioned the UPI, right? So we all know that UPI is facilitating, let's say I use some app, okay, XYZ app, to make a payment. You are using some other app, like, I don't really need to worry about what you are using, your bank, your thing. UPI just made sure that, like, you can have this cross financial institute transaction, and not just cross financial institutions, but also at a access point. So your mobile app, where you scan the QR code, is your access point. I have some other app using that. So that interaction point is not the solution that we will be building. What we will be building, the whole layer of that execution, that's what we should be building at Kumbh Mela as a Kumbhdoot.
Correct. And this is more of a broad question. I feel like if we look at, okay, internet, and then after a couple of years there was the protocol HTTPS, and then websites, and then when phones came out there were apps. But do you think with the agentic web, because it's in addition to the internet, it will also lead to new hardware or new, which we don't know yet?
I'm 100%, because the way I said earlier, we evolved in a very organic way, like, but once it realized the utility, as I say, this era is a consumer AI first, right, era. So when the big players realize that, like, how to get maximum value for those big companies, like, and the all attention goes to get the market share, like, and to make it centralized system. That always happens. Any technology evolution, like I have references for that as well, right? When the printing press were given, like from traditionally there were books existed, like handwritten books, and then the printing press innovation happened. Then everybody is worried what will happen to the knowledge. It actually benefited, because what it did is like made the knowledge enough distributed or accessible to the more humans, right? The second is that, like what internet solved is a distribution problem at a global scale. Meaning somebody has some knowledge base or a data points, like, or a data set that is get distributed across the globe. So internet kind of solve that problem. So what AI is trying to solve the problem is the coordination problem. Like without human in the loop, because by nature AI could be, or agent could be, an autonomous entity which can act on behalf or on their own, like to accomplish certain goals. So when that's happening, the thing that as a at a planetary scale that needs to be solved is a coordination layer or a trust layer that needs to be built, so that, like all these interaction
can
are possible.
happen. And like you'd mentioned, this is not like a one company solution or one organization or one institution solution. It needs a lot of coordination from everybody as well. And like, what is a helpful way to think about it? So let's assume there's one who's really interested, like a young boy or girl really interested, wants to participate in shaping this story and shaping, the future of or you know what to call it, experiences, interaction, the internet. One, how could they on a personal level get involved in terms of participation? But two, how does one think of it in the democratic, decentralized way? So there will always be like private companies and players, like you said, who will, get market share, and it's important, like you said,
that has to happen.
And you said like it is like an OpenAI or Claude, for example, or Anthropic need each other. So can you talk to both those points?
Sure. So the first question, right, how someone should think about it, what's happening, right? Currently we all are enjoying that utility aspect of AI solution, but something beyond that is that how can it solve and benefit me as an individual, right? When you said like let's say 18-year-old student somewhere in the remote place in India, like, can that person be isolated from the intelligence that has been getting built in Silicon Valley, right? It has to be enough distributed for the benefit of whole humanity. Earlier, the way I was saying is that internet solve the distribution problem. Like, meaning that 18-year-old student has access to the internet, meaning that they can access anything that exists on 300 million websites. Okay, technically they can. Okay, but the other way around, like they were smartphone users, then they can have any access. It's their choice to use a particular app. It's not like one versus other, but it's a very limited choices were given. Okay, the reason was that it happened as a consumer that we had been divided into a two app ecosystem or app store model. Like that kind of choked the innovation itself. Like innovation should not have stopped at that level. Let's say somebody's building an amazing health app, like that is benefiting somewhere in the world, should have a chance to be there, like in that ecosystem. So for this 18-year-old student, I would say that how they should be thinking about this is like, okay, now make sure that you get access to the intelligence. Okay, that's very important point of view. Okay, what are my channels to get access to this intelligence is, okay, maybe it's ChatGPT, maybe it's Google Gemini, or it could be Anthropic, or it could be something else. Like that's the current model that I'm thinking, that my access to the intelligence is
the
with these big players. But is this the only intelligence exist? The answer is no, because the human participation has not yet happened in this intelligence economy. The only thing that happened is the public internet data got churned out, and that is the derived intelligence that we all are fascinated by.
So how does one think about this human participation not happening? Like,
Yes.
how do you change
So
that?
first thing, like as I was saying, like we are entering into that personal agent era, like where I will be building my personal AI solution, which
Yeah.
knows my data, my interaction, my knowledge, my college degree, all that kind of thing is happening, like in, so build your own AI solution for your use case.
Yeah.
If I'm a student, let's say, and I want to learn some Einstein's relativity theory, but my current models are like, okay, I can go to the YouTube or go to the search engines or and try to understand, and there are very limited ways.
Yeah.
But there is no interaction happening here.
Yeah.
Mostly I'm on the receiving side,
Yeah.
and I have to adapt to that sharing
Yeah.
of the intelligence.
Yeah.
It's not like it's suitable. Maybe
yeah.
it's not, as I was saying, the term is hyper personalization,
Yeah.
meaning that it has to explain me the way I want to understand it, the
Yeah.
Einstein's relativity theory, with my circumstances
For
around
it.
me.
But and we
Yeah.
do see that happening in smaller pockets. I guess more people who are
Yes.
AI native, who are building like their own context tools,
Yes.
knowledge libraries.
Yes.
So I'm curious, how does that help in the human participation? Because they're building it for themselves. They
Yes.
make it public, sure, but like,
Yes.
how does that?
Yeah. So when they do, doctor example is very good because that's very fragmented across the globe in the
Yeah.
current
Yeah.
moment, right? And it's important, like meaning that if there is a amazing health research happening on cancer in
Yeah.
US, that has to be accessed by but the current problem is the data.
Yeah.
Because why it did not happen, or why it even happened, the fragmentation, because what we were thinking of, like, oh, okay, data cannot be shared. Okay, so that's the economic situation that we are into, or the regulations point of view. But when we cross that barrier and we say that the exchange is only happening at an intelligence level, meaning that it's only sharing the derived intelligence from it. When I say it's sharing, meaning the AI solution that is sharing the derived intelligence, which is, let's say there are like a million in a lifespan. Let's say some surgeon, like has 40 years of experience, like treating like thousands of patients. Yeah. Are they supposed to share the patient data to the centralized models to know that, to get the benefits of that intelligence? That's the current form of the AI, right? What I, as a doctor, is using the some LLM model, sharing my data with that system and getting some value out of it, like, and so that I can treat more patients, for example. From that, right? That's the current form. But what I'm doing in a way that, like, is it about empowering those big models? I think there will be a limit on that, right? Like, because then there will be 99.99% accuracy will be achieved at some point in time. But the answers that I will receive, or the intelligence I will receive as a consumer, it is derived at that scale. But I don't want that scale. I want these nodes across across the planet. All the surgeons on the planet will have their own intelligent entity, or a digital twin, or whatever you call it, exist, and they can collab and coordinate with each other and can help a patient who is really in need. So let's say one doctor in Mumbai send a message to this agentic system saying that, hey, I have this patient, like, and this is the without exposing the personal data, and only sharing the problem statement. But then this agentic system or intelligent system basically gets intelligence from every single participant. And then give me the multiple choices.
And I mean, I've obviously read, so I know, but it's also based on cryptographic philosophy, right? Like the decentralization.
Yeah. So see, there are some solutioning offered by the decentralization, and that's why, like in the real world, 100% decentralization cannot survive, because there is an intelligent entity exists, right? A human, like, has to participate. So there has to be some control over that. It cannot be a fully automated system, like our autonomous system. So there are some solutioning that you can find in a Web3 world, like, but you cannot have the universal solution can actually use the existing infrastructure as well, but there is not really a direct correlation as such that there is 100% decentralized.
Yeah.
So think of the quilt thing that you mentioned. There will be decentralized system, there will be centralized system, but what we had to do is build a layer in between, like so that the coordination is possible, like in a seamless way. So
and one way to, like, again coming back to the human participation,
Sure.
I've been seeing, of course, a lot of personal projects, but like some people just out of curiosity, like building from public data sets and trying to find like common node points. So would you, of course, say, like, as someone who's interested, you'd encourage them to also continue building their own, so that it contributes to the larger infrastructure?
Yeah, that can happen, but as long as it is not no more a data problem. If they're thinking or tackling it as a data problem, meaning that I need access to the data to make something successful, that's not the case with the personal AI agent. Personal AI agent might be just operating on some of your X amount of data, like that. That is what you will be building as a node, like. And as a human, like I was a very interesting question you asked, because there is a debate going on, like, oh, okay, is AI replacing the human? And I would say no, not at all. What it is doing, it's augmenting some of the human skills. Okay, that's again very important distinction. It's augmenting the skills. It's not augmenting the human. As a human, I might have like 10 different skills. I play 10 different personas or roles on a daily basis. Okay, so some part of that can be augmented with AI, but it's not replacing any of it. Okay, the reason, because I'm participating in this. Okay, so to answer your question, like who is building that kind of AI solution, and if they're considering that the data point or a data set is a choke point for any innovation to be unlocked, I would say that will remain that way, because currently we have sufficiently centralized ecosystems, like where if I need somebody's health records, like I have to follow the certain processes, and that are important as well, because from the compliance and regulation standpoint, that is required. But will I get access to it, or should I get access to it? The answer might be no. Like what I should be focusing on
is my own.
So building the network that's what more important than doing it in a silos, like. So that's why I was this project Nanda is mostly stands for the community driven project, because everybody should be sharing, or in my personal experience, what I learned so far is from every individual who is involved in this, I learned AI better. I understand the AI better. Otherwise, I would have stuck with that notion of that, oh, I will own the AI. Like, and rather than build a network of AI. So I would say that they should be thinking of that rather than
building their
hoarding.
own.
Like, oh, I will just collect all the pieces of the puzzle. And I will be the guy who own the solution.
Orchestrating.
Not really. Like what I will be doing is I will be participating in it. Like it's mostly the bidirectional interaction. So I will be doing that
more.
It's we are using this word, right? We are entering into a different kind of economy as well, called intelligence economy. Because as I was saying, as a human, I'm different intelligent entity. Okay. Maybe as you said, you are the great podcaster, like, and I'm a great AI researcher, but can I just get everything to myself and build an intelligent system? No, that's not how it is going to happen. Because your intelligence has to participate in this network, and my intelligence has to participate and has to co-learn from each other, so that I can have a derived intelligence out of it. Okay, that helps me to understand my side of the intelligence better, and you understand your side of the intelligence better. And when I say intelligence economy, when you become that intelligent entity in the network, then we are also doing some research around that, like called knowledge pricing. How do you even price the knowledge? Because it's somebody's proprietary, right? Okay, either and if I'm building an agent, like, and giving all my knowledge to it, can it serve more
Yeah.
consumers, or
Yeah.
as a surgeon or as a doctor, you can think of like, currently I have a limit on manually
Doing
treating
things.
the
Yeah.
people, but I want some AI assistant, like who can have a preliminary
Hmm.
things done the way I do it,
Yeah.
because it's very personalized.
Yeah.
Doctor is a very good example because they have to deal with, they need to
Yeah.
have a business sense plus the human skills
Yeah.
to interact with the patients. It's not just about the problem itself, it's more human in nature as well.
Yeah.
But my digital twin or my AI assistant is basically is my persona or one of my skills I'm outsourcing to it, so that it can do the preliminary counseling
For
and then pass it on to me,
yeah.
because then most of the problems might get solved at
Through
that
that.
as
Yeah.
well. And I
Yeah.
want to price it.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I get incentivized as a human.
Yeah.
My agent is actually working for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will be a fascinating economy as
To
well for
be in.
everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. And let's talk a bit about the project Nanda team, like who
yeah,
is in the team right
sure,
now. And again, if people want to participate, since it's a global effort, but
sure,
also Kumbh is happening next year.
sure.
So,
Yeah, definitely. So, so currently, as I was saying, this started as an academia research, like which has origin at MIT,
yeah.
uh, but then we eventually have it, like very community driven, meaning that more universities participating in it, most of the researchers from the universities.
Yeah.
Then we realize that that's also not sufficient because it's happening at an internet scale.
Yeah.
We need a more participation. So the industry researchers or their research orgs basically participating in this research.
Yeah.
uh, then we realize that's also not sufficient to solve it at an
Yeah.
internet scale, because it's a consumer AI era. So we wanted a participation from every single builder, every single startup founder, every single investor,
Yeah.
every single thought leader, philanthropist, technical, non-technical
Yeah.
community should join this effort to
Yeah.
build this new internet.
Yeah.
So, and it's built by all of us.
Yeah.
Like it's not just one entity as such. It inclusive or all inclusive effort. And that's what I said. Like all this is happening in the what you read in the
Yeah.
media versus what needs to happen.
Yeah.
We really need to build that like a universal or a global trust coordination layer,
Yeah.
like that we all agree upon, so
Yeah.
that we can have a better outcome or a better utility out of this AI
Benefactor
innovation. Yeah,
from it. Yeah.
yeah.
And you had mentioned something earlier about people seem to be on two sides
Mm-hmm.
in terms of how they
Yes,
look at
yes,
the future. One side is extremely optimistic and
yes,
that we're entering an era of abundance.
yes,
The other side that you mentioned earlier was a bit more like the doomers, as we say, where it's a lot of like AI replacing everybody and the situation is going to be really bad.
yeah,
You communicated that you're kind of in the middle
yes,
and more neutral. So, what
yes,
is your take?
yes. See, neutral, you use very important word. That neutral layer is very important or critical,
Yeah.
because if it is one of those inflection points in the human history, then that neutrality is very important.
Yeah.
And okay, is it one versus other? Okay, is it right versus wrong? No, none of that is actually. Everybody is right at their own place, because they had been exposed to that side of the things.
Yeah.
So when you say the somebody who is extremely optimist had been day to day enjoyed the utility aspect of the AI solutioning,
Right.
and there is an entity who had some historical references how it evolved.
Hmm.
So this is a chance to address both of these concerns. Like
Yeah.
so, like highly optimistic uh, entities might want to keep it centralized.
Yeah.
Like, and somebody who is not really optimist because of the challenges, like the issues that we face with the social media, or issues that we face with this app store
Yeah.
ecosystem.
Yeah.
Like and all of them had been through it. Like when they see this is happening,
Yeah.
and the solutioning is that make sure that it is enough distributed, enough democratized.
Yeah.
And that effort is what Project Nanda is trying to do.
Yeah.
Like get everybody involved, and get everybody like, and in my opinion, like of course everybody has their own concerns, and
Yeah.
of course they're valid concerns, because I will be worried about my 5-year-old, like getting access to the
Yeah.
AI. and I don't know if his AI is a black box, and like what it's gonna reveal, and which is in the current form. And let's say, but very optimistic future is that, oh, okay, his learning capabilities are amazing now because he's learning so many new things and so much fast. Like that's the benefit. So how do you balance this? So this dilemma always exists in every technology evolution. It's not just new or this time it's happening. It always happened. But to the learnings from the history is that make sure that enough parties, enough forces come together to try to keep it neutral and open for all. Like, and that's what is important and needs to happen. So that like we need guardrails, of course, we need innovation, of course, but they has to happen hand in hand, not in the isolation. Right now the way it is happening is
a bit
isolation. Like nobody's trying to address each other's concerns. Like, and they're valid concerns. Like it's and that has to be mitigated. So don't choose a path of one versus other. Try to make it enough good,
so that there's a net.
it's good, and the way to go is keep it neutral and open for all.
I think just like last few questions,
Sure,
which
sure.
is out of curiosity.
Sure.
Since you've been present during those times, how is it different when, let's say, DNS was implemented, or was it the same thinking of some people trying to, some of it being open, some of it being closed, or do you think at that time in general people were a lot more open?
So see, it always there is always a history, right? For every innovation or any evolution, there is always a historical references. Even computer innovation, right? Was it used for a good purpose or a bad purpose? It's up to us as a collective decides that.
Right.
So during that era, you can think of we were not disconnected. Like, so right now in the state that I was talking earlier, there is a digital native people who seen the web. There are app native people who believe that, okay, everything is an app. Like and there is a now emergent of AI native. Like the way my son uses AI is a very seamless. He doesn't believe in click, search, open, login. None of that he understands. He thinks that the interaction has to be seamless. I ask for something, I should get it. Like that's an AI native behavior. So during that era, the world was not that connected. World has not seen the value unlocked from it. Like imagine a world where web did not exist, right? So the early efforts were very happened at a very small scale, but the impact was huge. Like literally the way World Wide Web was formed is like a 20 people gathered together and just decided, oh, this has to be how the machines should interact or communicate with each other. And that's how everybody said, yeah, that's perfectly fine, because the incentivization model evolved over the period of time. Like initial form was like, okay, everybody thought that, oh, okay, we connect all the computers, we agreed upon this messaging protocol and all is good, right? But then when web started happening, like we realized that now I can reach my reachability or is at a global scale. Like let's say I had a shop during that time, like, and I want to build a website, like, and my channel was like, okay, let's build a website and offer a services so that somebody on the internet will, but the infrastructure was getting built at the same time. There was sufficiently slow or sufficient time existed to build that infrastructure. But in the current era, we don't have that. So we fortunately or unfortunately, we can use the existing infrastructure. So we are not saying that current, but what Project Nanda's research focused on was that the limitations of the current infrastructure itself. So we had one amazing research paper that's called Beyond DNS. DNS stands for domain name system. Like beyond this DNS, like where we as a human, this is all built on a human-centric network. We kept human in the loop rather than keeping machine in the sorry, I'll take it back. Like it's a human-centric system that we build. So current internet is built as a human-centric, saying everything is for human. So we think like human, we interact like human. We don't. So machines were not at the center of that execution. But we are now saying that machines are enough intelligent. We can keep them at the center and build
around
a machine
that,
or AI-centric world or AI-centric internet. Like when when that thought experiment was there, so we said this research paper is beyond DNS, how the trillions of AI agents, and when we say trillions, it's not a far-fetched number. It has a maths behind it. Currently, there are 300 million websites exist. There are billions of microservices exist. There are 8 billion plus mobile or a smartphone existed. On an average, each smartphone has around 50 apps that everybody installs, uses, or they exist. So all that is getting converted into a single interface that could be an AI. It could be running on your phone. It could be an app for you. It could be a kiosk that you go to, or it could be like a voice first interaction, or a robots or humanoids. All that is happening at such a fast pace that the current rails that exist to make it function, that internet, will break. So there is a point when this very simple example, when you say that, let's say there is a bad agent, bad AI solution exists in the ecosystem, how will you make sure that it doesn't impact that heavily? So, and that's where this architecture evolution matters. And we had some proposals or proposed solutions. And as I said, it's most of our research, we say that it's open for comments. It's a draft status. It's not the solution. Not like solved everything. So everybody can comment on it, contribute to it, and
that's what
evolve
it kind
together.
of needs. As you were saying, I think it's so exciting to think about, because I feel there will be some different container for that. I mean, like a different hardware for that, and there'll be different interfaces. If you just had to leave maybe a project on that lens, but just from your own curiosity, do you have an inkling or take of what that might look like? So for example, I read something recently that said that voice will be the one that actually leads.
Of course,
because it'll allow for this quick sort of solve for it. Your agent can quickly find everything, language, everything gets taken care of. So that's one. And then, but the interface is still a question mark. What would that? So do you have any from your, research?
Yeah, definitely. So interfaces are still evolved. So the current user interfaces, as I was saying, were built for humans. Okay. So again, like everybody who is listening, for a second, twist it, right? Replace humans with the AI, or AI agent. Say that I want to build for AI agents. That thought experiment itself changes your perspective a lot. Now you are not keeping human at the center. You are not thinking about clicks and browsing and scrolling. No, none of that you are thinking. Now you're thinking, I'm building for the agentic systems or AI native systems. So when that starts happening, when you start thinking like that, like right now everybody's thinking that I need to build an agent for XYZ use case. Okay. Then there will be trillions of agents, right? But what we are talking at Project Nanda is like, what is after that? Let it happen. Let everybody build an agent. Agent stores. There will be billions of agents or trillions of agents coexist. But we need to build now for the agents. All of these trillions of AI agents now exist in the system. Now I have to build infrastructure for those.
Them. It's like I told you, I'd gone for the hackathon, and at YC they ended by saying, we used to say make things humans want, but now make things agents want.
Yes, 100%. Yes. And literally everything, like if they're going to do a transaction on behalf of me, like I want to build for them, because they will be executing at such a faster pace that all these millisecond responses feel like a waste of time, like for them when they execute, because they are digital entities, they're not human entities. They have 24/7, they are available. They will be doing all of that.
And what would you say? Because I also think there's so much pushback and fear from people in general. So people who are very far from it, or they're a bit of like, but why do we need this to happen? Like, why do I need my own agent? Like, in a simple way, what would you tell them, because we do need, well, not every single person to participate, but I mean, we understand why it's beneficial, but to someone who holds that point of view in a simple way, what would you say?
So as I was saying, it's this is the first time we are having a human equivalent intelligence, right? Not human replaced intelligence,
Yeah.
but human equivalent. So think of a family, okay, like
Yeah.
your family, for
Yeah.
example, how you currently interact with each other, like in a very seamless or a human way, right?
Yeah.
Let's say your mom asks something, you don't tell her that, oh, okay, oh, there is an app for it,
Yeah.
like go and install the app and
Yeah.
do this, right? No, you try to use your intelligence to help her or accomplish
Yeah.
what she is asking.
Yeah.
So that's what is happening, like that's where what we're saying, that a family of like typical Indian family, think of like a mom and dad, the grandparents and the kids, right? Let's think of their interaction currently is how they help
Yeah.
each other, like they use the current technology, of course,
Yeah.
right, to help each other.
Yeah.
If somebody is a student, like and needs some teaching help, of course my go-to places are web, in the
Yeah.
current web, or I can reach out to my parents, or I can reach out to my friends. All that is happening in a very human
Yeah.
possible way. But then you realize that this is so limited,
Yeah.
like maybe not the way I wanted it, right? I wanted, like much better utility.
Solutions for
Yeah,
it.
so,
Yeah.
yeah. So student says that, like I need to search for the scholarships
Yeah.
and, like research all these universities, their
Yeah.
scholarship programs, my academia background.
Yeah.
And what I really want currently, I might say to my dad, like, hey dad, I want to do my post
Yeah.
graduation, and can you do this and recommend me top 3?
Yeah.
That's how it is happening,
Yeah.
but then there is a limitation on the human. The AI agents by nature have no
Can.
such a limitation of how much
Yeah.
it can access to.
And give
Okay.
you, and I think also again important to point out is that it's not saying that it's going to lose out on what actually
No.
makes you human. Like you
Yes.
need
Yes.
to leverage that more.
Yes. It is gonna be even more.
Yeah.
Reason being because then we'll be more focused our energy
Yeah.
into the more human skills,
Yeah.
rather than like all this administrative stuff, because
Yeah.
we live in a society, as I was saying, like digitally empowered societies. Like literally, like very simple example, let's say your mom wants to book a cab or
Yeah.
book an auto, and she doesn't know how to use an app. Like the current way is that she might reach out to you and saying that, hey, can you book it for me? I need to
Yeah.
go this place,
Yeah.
I need to meet this person, like
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
Okay, information. And let's say you are busy, right? Very simple example, but most
She
probably you
could.
will help,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you'll try to help.
Yeah.
But your model also, the way it happens is that you will also go through and search, and like all that
Trying to find.
happens
Yeah.
and do that.
Yeah.
What if again, it feels very far-fetched, but when it comes to a very personal AI solutioning or a personal AI agent, what if this whole interaction happen in an agentic way?
Yeah.
Okay, is there any emotional thing attached to this?
But
Not
it doesn't.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you really were doing
Yeah.
was trying to help in a
Yeah.
very mechanical way,
Yeah.
right? To make offer a help.
Yeah.
Let outsource that to the agents, like
Yeah.
let agent figure out all that things
Yeah.
and help her on her own. So your conversation or your bandwidth
Yeah.
is
Can be
not
saved.
really
Yeah.
saved for something better.
Yeah.
you
I
know
think
uh,
that's like the nuance that gets a bit missed in that, because I feel, I don't know if it's the hype, but it gets kind of like, oh, it's going to replace, and then there's a lot of talk about creativity and like,
yes, of course. Yeah.
generative AI, like
Yes.
replacing that, which I think, yeah, is just a bit of a reframe.
Yes.
I think the last but a broad question I
Sure.
have is,
Sure.
since this is like rehauling the entire
Yeah.
system and architecture that we
Sure.
have now, different countries are at different paces, right, for
Sure.
it. Like I was just thinking in my head, for example, super apps as a concept really took off in China,
Yes.
but they didn't really take off in other parts,
Yes.
and like we do have different models. You could say NVIDIA is like a great infra level across all, but
Sure.
in your experience, if we need this coordination across like the entire world, how do you overcome like the chokes of sovereignty of like people wanting best for perhaps their country or their
Yes. I think I like that. Like so. Um, I think I partly answered that question before, because we need that uh, trust layer
Yeah.
built,
Yeah.
like in the agentic system. and who will build that trust, right?
Yeah.
Is it one company will build that trust, or it's
Yeah.
a group of companies will build that trust? Is it the government who will build that trust?
Yeah.
No, it's all of us, like collective will build that trust layer.
Yeah.
Like, and how that is happening, earlier example I was saying, like that can happen. Initially it might feel like I'm building a personal AI agent for my own use cases
Yeah.
and productivity boost. If I'm a content creator, it is helping me in a way that I have not thought about.
Yeah.
Like, because it's provoking me to think in a different direction, because
Yeah.
it has some knowledge about some other creators doing it same
Yeah.
thing in a different way, and it is asking me some, and I'm enjoying that interaction as of now.
Yeah.
Like, as a content creator also. But eventually what I need to happen is that beyond that, I want to participate
Yeah.
in this interaction. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be a part of that network.
Yeah.
Like, where like my AI exists, my intelligence exists. Like, and it's always derived.
Yeah.
Because there is a famous quote going on these days. Like, AI can uh, like replace the knowledge, but it can never replace the understanding.
Yeah, I saw
Because, yeah,
this.
so
Yeah.
because the understanding
Yeah.
is very
Innate to
personal,
you.
it's
Yeah.
very human,
Yeah.
and very personalized,
Yeah.
the way I understand.
Yeah.
Like, but I want that experience continued.
Yeah.
Like, what I want to do is that be a part of this global trust layer in
Yeah.
whatever capacity that I can.
Yeah.
Very simple example I was giving, like 18-year-old or anybody in the world, actually. Yes, pick a use case that is
Yeah.
relevant to you. Try to build your own AI solution around it.
Yeah.
You are caring for your personal data and all. And now AI is shifting from these large language models to the small language models, to the tiny ML, like, which can run with a sufficiently small compute
Yeah.
on any of your preferred devices. Like, and you can have a complete private
Yeah.
assistant for yourself.
Yeah.
Even though it is built or pre-trained
On
on
other. Yeah.
others data,
Yeah.
but you are using it for your own sake. And
Yeah.
what you are getting out of it, like, for example, I don't know if you paid attention. Literally, it's happening in a real time at a lightning speed. So Gary Ten, Y Combinator, you mentioned. So he open sourced
The
GBrain.
G stack. Yeah.
G Stack. The way he uses
Yeah.
AI,
Yeah.
and he's putting his persona into that AI.
Yeah.
It's called GBrain.
Yeah.
Open source project
Yeah.
in the GitHub. Like, and this is a very good example of this personal
Yeah.
intelligence getting shared
Across. Yeah.
across the global scale.
Yeah.
But now what you are doing, are we using his intelligence? No, I'm
Yeah.
customizing it
To
with my
my.
personal data,
Yeah.
my intelligence,
Yeah.
and Gary Ten's brain, like, coming
To
all
do it.
together to
I-
solve the problem.
And but I do have like just one thing on that, which is like I'm sure it'll evolve, but if I'm not technical,
Sure.
I am coding. I mean, and I'm not technical. I use Cloud Code. I did check this out. I'm not so familiar with GitHub,
Sure,
if I'm
sure, of
fully
course.
non-technical.
Yes.
So I still think even those parts will eventually change, wherein
Yes.
it's like, how do you,
100%.
because it's on the current rails
Yes,
right
yes,
now, so
exactly.
to software engineers or people in it, of course, like they know how to use it and access
Yes.
it. I have to ask Claude and whatever, sort of figure it out.
Yes.
But I do think those containers will also change, and it's exciting to think how.
Yes. Yes. Correct. I like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
because see, solving or creating a coding assistant or a coding co-pilot
yeah.
was easy problem to solve, because it just happened in last 100 years, right?
Yeah.
Less than 100 years, actually.
So you had mentioned this last time, which was very interesting, of the like, it's predictable data, and it's there are only two languages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So think of it like, like the machines, the way the language was built,
Yeah.
like the programming
Yeah.
languages, it's a very limited set of languages.
Yeah.
The humans evolved for millions of years,
Yeah.
right? So they carried that whole in their DNA,
Yeah.
technically, like, and I don't know how many languages exist, maybe 1,000 plus languages exist.
Yeah.
Recently I found out that in LA only,
Yeah.
there are around 230 plus
Wow.
local, like
Yeah.
the language
Dialect.
getting, dialect, not dialect, the native languages,
Right.
that kind of local people basically live in
Yeah.
LA region. how will you even solve the language problem, right? Like solving the programming problem was much easier to tackle, and that's why the current model that exists, we tackle because of course by nature, let's say you said the technical people or the software developers think every problem is a software problem, right? Or a technical problem, and that needs to be solved. But what about the non-technical people when they start participating and do innovation, and that has to happen, because then we are not unlocking the real potential of this intelligent economy. We are only saying that, like bunch of like, as I said, like not every problem or every solution is a digital problem or technical problem. We don't even know, like the way you mentioned the creativity, we haven't even done that. Like the current form is very much derived from the set norms. It's not truly original. When that started happening, and that will happen only when the masses started contributing,
and that will also only happen when the floodgates open, when the narrative changes, when it is more about, when people understand with Project Nanda, as an example, that it is truly decentralized and democratic in a way that is protecting you and is not like taking away from you. And I think that's a bit at odds right now because there's so much hype. And that's what I found most like interesting and fascinating. And so to that, do you have like a final message that you would like to share?
Yeah, sure. And just to before even that message, right? What I would like to share is that there are different opinions in the industry as well, right? Like, okay, we say that, okay, is this intelligent entity is a well-trained entity, or it's actually an intellectual entity, right? There is a debate going on,
right?
Like if something is trained or pre-trained on certain things, is it really an intelligent entity?
Right.
Because at certain point in time, we have to give the autonomy to the entity, right? And because we evolved from that model, so we think like, oh, okay, I need a controlled execution of this. We did not enough challenge ourselves as a like, because we had been always given a framework that we just roam around in that framework and try to innovate within the framework. We literally did not have a cross what you can say specialization interactions as well. Like when I was saying earlier, right, did the doctor talk to an engineer? Right? Very simple example. Like, because engineer think that because engineer is trained for a particular specialization, they attack it in a different way. The doctor will attack, but the problem can be universal. But when they join forces, like what will come out of it, and that's what we should be striving for. And that's what Project Nanda stands for. Like we need to make this cross or collaboration has to happen. Let's build this common trust layer, getting everybody participate in it at a planetary scale. Like, and then we are actually building a new internet. So, thank you.
Very excited. Thank you so much for doing this.
Sure.
And I feel there's so many more rabbit holes and questions to get down to, which we will definitely do.
Okay. Sounds good.